I've been doing syndicated real estate deals for about 20 years. I've done everything from multifamily, office, warehouse, light industrial, golf courses, and then all the single family stuff I've done is all really tied to the short-term rental markets. And I would have people come to me and be like, Brad, next time you do a short-term rental market, can you help me? Or hey, can you guide and mentor me? And I'll pay you a little bit of money to have you kind of help walk me through the journey of what to look for, how to underwrite it, how to find the right property management group, or how do you manage it yourself. So I've done that for years in all reality. But then it kind of hit after this Taylor Swift concert. It was, why don't I just create a fund so people don't have to do all that stuff themselves? Because it is a full-time job. It is something that, it's not just invest in something if you're the operator and just forget about it, because you have a lot of things that you have to deal with. And so instead of you doing that, why don't you take that same amount of money, put it with us, de-risk it, because we do this with no debt, and let us handle everything for you. And you just sit back and go to these beautiful houses, collect the memories, and then also collect the mailbox money, because we're doing all the work on the back end versus you.
Right. And, just for someone who may or may not be aware of the difference between a syndication and a fund, we're talking about a syndication that is specifically about one property versus a fund that has multiple properties, right?
That's correct. Yeah. So this fund, right now we've got three. We're adding two more over the next couple of months. Our ultimate goal is to get about 15 to 20 here in the next 2 years, and then grow that to about 50 or 60. And so these are Class A properties in prime locations that you're going to be a part of, that you get to own. Places like Costa Rica, as you see in the screen behind me, Arizona, Deer Valley, Turks and Caicos, Hawaii, Cabo, et cetera, et cetera. It's all the great places that you want to travel to, but also, as important, people want to travel to, and they're willing to pay us for that experience.
Exactly. So as an investor, I mean, what are, the handful of boxes that you want to be able to check as you're looking at deals?
Yeah, number one, we're looking at, are these prime locations that we know people are going to continue to want to travel to on the long term? And when we talk about people, we're talking about a large group of people. We're talking about people from New York want to go there, California want to go there, Australia, China. I mean, not just the US, all over the world. People always want to go to Hawaii. No matter where you live in the world, Hawaii is a hotbed. Turks and Caicos, Arizona, Costa Rica. These are places that we look for that people are always going to want to travel to. The other thing we look for is deals, right? So are we able to get instant equity into the asset by buying it right? And when we're buying it with cash, especially in today's market, with rates being what they are, we're able to go in there and offer usually, 20, 30 cents below asking price, because we're able to close very, very quickly.
Right.
And that to me is very important, because we are able to gain instant equity from day one without having to do any forced appreciation, any remodel, anything like that a lot of syndicators or a lot of investors have to do to get that appreciation. We just get the appreciation by buying right. And then we also look at, how big are the houses? What type of houses are they? Do they have great amenities? Do they have great locations? So we want to be places that are ski in, ski out, beachfront, places that have great access to restaurants and other amenities. And so it's those type of things that we look for kind of in our buy box that really separates us from a lot of other people that are just buying quote unquote real estate.
Let's talk about the last house you bought, and what was the position of the owner, and how did you, find the deal, and how did you solidify, hey, I really want to buy this property?
Yeah, one of the most recent purchases we had was our property in Scottsdale, Arizona. And this is a market that we know very well. We always have realtors on the ground that are sending us deals, and we kind of tell them what we're looking for specifically. This particular house came online, and it was a house that, unfortunately, the current or the past owners, they were going through some hard times. They had bought the house for $3.5 million, and they were trying to unload it. We offered them $2.7 million. They countered back. We countered back at $2.8 million, and we ended up closing the deal. So we're, roughly $500,000 to $700,000 in instant equity on day one, because we were able to find the right house with the right amenities and find a distressed seller. We don't look for distressed assets. We don't look for houses that have a lot of remodel, a lot of things that need to be done to turn them around. We just look for sellers that need to get out for whatever reason it might be. And then we go in there and make them an offer. And if they accept it, great. If not, no worries. We'll find the next one. In this particular house, we made them a very low offer and they accepted it. And so now we've got, over $500,000 in equity from day one just on that property.
And how many properties are you and the team looking at, in the course of a month or a quarter, so that you go, hey, out of all these, I mean, it's going to be, we're going to have our checklist. We're going to be looking for these specific things. And then we finalize on the property.
Yeah, we got a team dedicated to just looking at assets. And so, in a given month, we might be looking at 10 to 15 assets spread across a geography of areas, anywhere from Turks and Caicos, Caymans, Anguilla, Vail, Cabo, Hawaii. And then we kind of narrow that down and we're talking to realtors on the ground to say, all right, tell me about the house, tell me about the market, tell me about the seller. Is this a motivated seller, or are they just throwing a number out there on their house to see if someone's dumb enough to pay it? That's not the right asset for us. And so we spend a lot of time in the due diligence process, really trying to understand how can we maximize the return at the purchase. And we really evaluate the houses, the market, what's going on in the STR space as far as any regulations. And then we also look at the growth and the trajectory. Is the economy in that area growing? Is it staying stagnant? How does the STR market, the short-term rental market, look in comparison to other markets? And so we spend a lot of time in the due diligence phase before we ever pull the trigger.
Exactly. And then, I mean, that translates to the investors because you're going to be able to get distribution, you're going to be able to get appreciation, tax mitigation, safety of capital, and lifestyle all in one.